All right, welcome to Coach's Kitchen or Coach's Garage. So this is week 2. What I want to talk about is choosing carbohydrates and a little bit about like where and when and why carbohydrates are beneficial. When we're talking performance for athletes, we're not a weight loss program. Carbohydrates are essential. We won't get into it, but once again, even if you want to lose weight, carbs are essential. That's where we get our source of energy and so forth. The key thing is when we're taking the carbs, and a good phrase for all ages is you want to earn your carbohydrates. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then what sources are a little better and why. So carbohydrates are basically they're sugars in our body, and some will dissolve faster than others. So if I'm having a chocolate bar, that's sugar, that's considered carbohydrate. That's going to shoot into your blood system really quick, give us a spike in energy, but then the crash on the other side is going to be really tough. So we want something that's more slow releasing. So basically that's the general concept. If we're high in sugar, our white pastas and all that stuff, get in your blood system faster, but then your drop in energy is more dramatic, and it's going to affect your performance, going to affect your attitude, and kind of how you're functioning. So we want something that releases a little slower, and that's what we're going to talk about, what we recommend. So I'll kind of go like breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas, but once again, I have all these carbs, some for breakfast, some for lunch, so they're interchangeable. And once again, everything I talk about is what we do as a family with myself, my 8-year-old son, my 5-year-old daughter. They do have their challenging moments, but once again, it's leading by example and helping our kids kind of understand the importance of it. Some days they'll fight us on it, some days they'll eat it, but once again, we're just doing our best by leading it by example and exposing them to these foods as their taste buds develop. So that's another sidebar. So we'll kind of start with breakfast kind of carbohydrates. So we want to push those sugary cereals, those big brand commercial names aside. And what we like to do is our rolled oats, our steel cut oats. Okay, so this is a good source of carbohydrate that we can have in the morning. So we have our steel cut oats for you. That's really good. Little side note too is like adding a little protein to balance something out. So you can put protein powder in there. So we talked about supplements last week. We didn't really talk about protein, but that's something you can add in there. And once again, 8-year-old, 5-year-old daughter, we give them some protein powder or collagen powder as well, something along those lines. Instead of white potatoes, we have our sweet potatoes. So once again, it's basically your glycemic index. How is that carbohydrate being released in your body? So our sweet potatoes, a little more fibrous, slower releasing in the body. So those are great. You can season them different ways. So once again, don't be afraid to have these for breakfast. Make some home fries out of them, stuff like that. Going to our pasta is very common as well. Pasta's okay, but there's a lot of variety of pastas out there. So brown or rice pasta is highly recommended, kind of going to that. Not your whole wheat pasta. We want brown rice. Once again, it's different. It's brown or whole wheat is still a wheat, so we want to try and avoid that stuff. This one's actually a little different. We didn't have any pasta in there, but chickpea pasta. And once again, it's a higher protein one. So you see a lot of pastas now that have different ways of making it. It's higher in protein, which balances out your meal a little more. So, if you're vegetarian, this is something you definitely would want to kind of have, something like that. So that's your pastas, and then your rice. So this isn't brown pasta, okay? It's actually basmati. It's white. But your longer grain long grain rices are better for the body. So once in a while, we'll switch up to white basmati instead of brown rice and things like that. But brown rice definitely recommended, and long grain rice is more optimal for your body as well. So that's a general kind of overview of choosing your carbohydrates properly, something that's more slow releasing. So you want to stay away from the white breads, the white pasta, the white potatoes and things like that, and try and get something that's more slow releasing, like sweet potatoes, like I mentioned, brown rice or rice pasta. Those are better. Now, I mentioned earlier, it's earning your carbohydrates. So the optimal time to have carbohydrates isn't actually before training. We want to have it afterwards to replenish the glycogen stores, or replenish basically the tissue and the energy stores in your body. So after training is optimal, where you want to have your more higher carb-based diet, your higher carb-based meal. So if I'm having a hard training day, or my athletes are on the ice and doing off ice, we got to make sure they're getting that energy. So having a little bit in the morning's fine, but definitely after training, we want to make sure you're getting your carbohydrates in there. Maybe in the evening time, we're going to have a little less because our day is kind of winding down. So try and have your little bit in the morning, or after training, you want to have a little more. And as the day progresses, a little less. Because we're not using the body as much. So basically if you think earning your carbs, if you're training a lot, you need carbohydrates in you. The choices you make is key to help make sure the carbohydrates are acting properly within your body. Once again, any questions you want to dive deeper into or more specific, you can always email us or reach out, and we can have a separate conversation and answer those questions. Hope you enjoyed this Coach's Kitchen. Remember, earn your carbs, choose your carbs correctly, and you'll be good to go.